Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. Get one in here, y'all. Get one in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. What's going on, peoples? Hey, Shannon Gonzalez. Thank you. I appreciate you. So, I know that I had to push this live back a couple of times. Some things was going down, and I'm trying to wait for some more people to come. Is like a lot of lives going on right now, and I'm also waiting on my co-host to come. So um but we are going to be talking about Black Mirror today, y'all. Black Mirror. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a breakdown, just the overall of the whole season as a whole. Well, the whole season six, I should say. I do love me some Black Mirror, and I've even been thinking about maybe revisiting, some of the past seasons because I don't remember everything from the past ones. But I think I liked season six a little better than I liked season five. I don't know. I gotta revisit all of them and see, how I'm feeling about things once we get there. But I'm curious to know, like, what was you guys' favorite episode, and what was your least favorite? How was you feeling overall about this last season that we got? I was actually kind of surprised when it came back because I didn't know, for sure whether it was coming back or not. And then when I found out, I was super excited and happy that it was coming. Hey, Tina, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. You was confused by some of the episodes. Yeah, I would say that they definitely was given confusion with some of the episodes. Definitely, some I was not too clear on where we was trying to go, and I felt like they kind of went a different direction this time around as well than what they normally do. Like, I know somebody was asking me about what Black Mirror is about and whether it's scary or not. And I'm like, no, it's not necessarily scary. If anything, I feel like it gives more of a, Twilight Zone type of feel, but with sci-fi things and, you know, artificial intelligence with, social media, computers, and, all of that different kind of stuff, right? That's more so the feel that it gives to me. And this time I felt like it was a little mixture, like they did kind of, mix up the ingredients and did a little switcheroo there with some of the stuff. I don't know how y'all, felt about it. Um, hey, Miss T, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. So I did feel like it was a little different in this particular season, Um, and I did think that that was really interesting, that it was different. um, you said this season was different. It wasn't as futuristic as some of the past ones. Yeah, I could agree with that. And also, they made it yeah, a little mixed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, technology plus horror definitely was given that kind of mix, which, like I said, they throw like different little mixes in there, but I don't know. This one to me felt a lot more different, but it also makes me want to go back to those original ones, like, the beginning ones, I should say, and kind of rewatch those. And maybe, somewhere down the line, I might do a little revisiting of them. We shall see. And some stuff I really don't remember like in great detail when it comes to the past seasons. So I think that would be interesting to see that. Um, but I'm trying to wait for my co-host to join, but we gonna get into it a little something something. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I think she coming out now, y'all. I think she coming out now. Wait, is
This
she?
season was crazy, Tamika.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Look, it was crazy this season.
Yes, it was. I was just telling them
You
this
got
felt different.
paparazzi.
Yes,
You
it
got a
felt different.
documentary, and you finding out the real truth with the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was the one you liked the most?
That's what I was just saying. Like, what's your favorite? What's your least favorite? For me, I think I like Joan the Awful the most. That one cracked me up, but it was scary too because it felt realistic, like something we would deal with.
Yes, and they all look. He said, "I told you to look before you sign all these things." Signed off to
Exactly.
all of this, not knowing what's going on. What up, little brother?
Exactly. Yes. You
You
know how
signed
they
all of
always
this
say,
stuff
I
and don't
gotta
even
read
know
the
what's
fine
going
print.
on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yes, definitely. I
and
think that
it's
one was.
scary because you know why? We're talking about it now. That artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and
let me
think about even when you talking on the telephone, or you're talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, like the ads pop up, or whatever you was talking about, come up on your phone, come up on your computer, come up on your TV.
And then they
So
got her in her car.
yeah.
They got her in her car singing her little hip
Oh
hop.
God.
She was singing the most like Hoochie Mama song, twerking in the car and all of that. And then you got
Yes.
someone higher imitating her, and then you got another girl. It was just like a rabbit, like a mirror, a mirror, a mirror, a mirror of the person. They was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, this look just like you, Joan," and it's called Joan the
Yes, that's
Awful.
what bugged me out. And you know what it kind of reminded me of, especially later on, like you was just mentioning, because like literally her whole day, like from work. And at first I was like, well, she's not really that awful. So I was waiting to see what the awful part was. I was like, yeah, some part she's doing that's bad that you may not want to do. Because at the end of the day, when she was firing the girl, is like, that's her job. That's what the higher ups is telling her to do. So of course she's going to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
then when she went to see the ex boyfriend, I was like, yeah, now that's getting a little sketchy. But it was funny because, like, the part that you just mentioned with her getting home to her boyfriend, and this was funny too, how it was kind of a parody of Netflix. We know it was making that same noise, even though it said a different name, it came in
Yes,
with the same design.
the Streamberry. He was like,
But
"Let's you gonna hear you.
when
Let's
he
watch
kept being
this.
like, "That's you," and she's like, "No, it's not." She's like, "That don't look nothing like me." He like, "Come on, they got the
Look at the
same hair. Like,
hairdo."
how much coincidence is gonna be? That's gonna be the same exact thing. And what gave it away, I think, is when it showed the part with the ex-boyfriend. Then he started getting pissed because before that he was kind of making fun of it, and she was the one that kept going, "That's not me." But it was like, how it's gonna be the exact things you
Why
did
she
throughout
just
the
didn't
day.
say turn it off when she saw herself in the car dancing to the song that she listened to on her way to work? Was she like, I don't want to watch this trash? That's how she should have been.
Exactly.
Instead, she was like, no, 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 let's watch more.
Right. Yo, that tickled me, I swear. But at the same time, it was like, can you imagine you go home and you turn on the TV and everything you did for that day is literally on your TV screen? Like, I would be pissed, scared, everything. So, of course, that like started a whole argument between them. Hey, Candy Love, how are you?
Hi, Candy.
Hey, Inga, thanks for coming through. Tina said, I have had conversations with someone in person, and when I pick up my phone and add yes, not even 2 seconds later, pop up regarding what we just talked about. Yes, that happens to me all the time. I'll be like, I see y'all listening. So just imagine, like in this case, everything you doing throughout your whole day, work, after work, hanging out, whatever, is just literally being repeated on the daggone screen. And then when he started asking for her phone, that part had me cracking up, and she was trying to give every excuse and
It's in
like
the house. It's in the house. Go and get this phone. Sure. If he was like, hold on, I'm gonna send you something. Let me see if you got it. She
mm-hmm.
would have been like, okay, let me go get my phone. All you had to do was say, go get your phone, and you could have been erasing it on the way back, and he just would have saw it in the next episode.
Exactly. That's true too. Like she wasn't even trying to make a good case for herself. It was funny too when the girl that she fired, like everybody's basically seeing it now. Her co-worker, her assistant, the one she fired, everybody's watching it, and everybody immediately is like, wait, is this Joan? Are they talking about I Joan? What you thought about that part, Moochie?
she's just looked at as a bad person. She's
Mm-hmm.
looked at as a bad person, and they was like, "This is the lady that's." And why do they have this guy really, really extra gay? Like he's like, "That's supposed to
Yes.
be me." Like yo, I was like, even the girl at the bar that got fired was
Mm-hmm.
watching this and getting a thrill out of it. And you know what I thought at first, Tamika?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think at first that she had something to do with it? Because the way the whole firing thing was word for word. And I'm like, how the heck? They see it every
Right.
part of her life. Only part they
Yes.
ain't show was when she go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
I'm just
Yeah, I
saying if
was
that
kind
was
of
me,
thinking that too. I was thinking maybe this was a get back because even like me thinking about it in context, if this was to happen in real life, and I'm seeing one of my coworkers on TV, and I see somebody that's supposed to be playing me, I would be bugging out too. I'd be like, wait a minute, that happened today, and is that supposed to be me? Like
shoot,
it
I
was
know
just
this happened to me today.
right. And it's already embarrassing enough that they literally had security take her out and all of that kind of stuff. Oh, look, it was just a hot mess. But then to be on TV and have everybody know about it too. So, of course, when she gets back to work now, her job, what you thought about that? The job basically was ready to escort her out the same way they did the girl she fired. They were saying she broke protocol. But
She
if she
broke
ain't know
protocol,
about it,
mentioning the disclosure about
right.
their business and talking about the footprint, the internet footprint, and all of this other stuff. But that wasn't her that disclosed the information. That was the girl. That's why
Mm-hmm.
at first I was like, "Yo, she gotta be behind this."
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, for real, they could just do that. And sure enough, when she went to see the lawyer was like,
Yes, they can.
girl, you got to read the fine print. Okay, you ain't nothing you could do. You
And
signed
where did
agreeing
she
to all of this.
sign? The question is, what app was it that she signed off on this?
I
That's the
think it
crazy
was the
part.
Strawberry app that was basically saying they could take your stuff and do whatever they want to do with it. That's how I interpreted it.
That's
I don't know
scary
if
because,
I
like, now
interpreted
it's
it wrong.
making me think: what if Netflix really do
Right,
something like this,
exactly. That's what
and
they
all of
want
us
you to
got
think
these
about.
smart TVs, and they watching you? Look, for those who got to be doing the Netflix and chill thing and don't get through the whole movie, just mind you, just be keep in mind that
Oh
Netflix
wow,
might have.
Candy Love says I never heard of this show until a few weeks ago, and then in season 6. Yes, this
Yes,
is a really good show,
it's
y'all.
a really good
I was just
show.
saying that I wouldn't mind revisiting because I don't even remember the beginning seasons that well. I remember bits and pieces, and it
Mm-hmm.
took them a while to come back with season 6, but it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone. That's what I always tell people, but is mostly in reference to like futuristic stuff, artificial intelligence, stuff with the computer, stuff with social media. Just makes you really think about different things that could happen normally. But I felt like this season they did it a little different than, how they have previous seasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good. It's good. So at this point, she tried to run back to the ex boyfriend. What did so he didn't want to be bothered with her though. I think because he got blasted out on TV too, he felt a little embarrassed. I guess he
But
couldn't even get it up.
yeah, he couldn't even get the ship into the harbor. Couldn't even sail a ship
Oh,
into the
God.
harbor. The sails
Yes.
wouldn't even open up.
Yeah. So we was we just was kind of doing the overall and some of our thoughts. We ain't gonna really get deep into every episode, but basically the point of this first one was literally every single thing she did for the day was playing out in all of the freaking episodes, and she kept trying to get it taken off. And so then she went and did the most gross, disgusting thing she could ever do, and
Exactly.
gets arrested. And even the cops was like, "Oh, I haven't watched that show yet, Joan the Awful, but I'm gonna make sure I'll check it out."
Now she
And
done brought more watches to it because she doing all of this in a doggone church, pulling down her
exactly,
pants and defecating in the middle of a wedding.
yeah,
And
that was
she's
so
doing it
nasty.
thinking that the actress playing her is going to be like, this is so repulsive, I can't do this. But
Hmm.
meanwhile, she trapped up in this mess too.
Yeah, that's what we come to find out because it was actually Selma Hayek was playing her, and then somebody else was playing Selma Hayek. I can't even remember
Selma
who it
Hayek.
was. And she even went to see her lawyer after it happened, and her lawyer told her the same exact thing too. They was like, "No, girl, it's nothing you could do." She was pissed off.
She kept trying
Started
to use her
threatening them.
religion.
Yes.
She's dyslexic.
You know what this kind of gave me the vibe of, even though it was a different situation, but what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. when he's in that movie, that's one of my favorites too. I can't remember the name of it. He'd be like, I'm a dude playing a dude that's playing a dude, because really none of these was the real Joan. It was like each person was playing Joan.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
that's
movie
what
with
it
Robert
was.
Downey Jr.?
What movie is that? Oh, I'm gonna be. It's
Now
gonna mess with me till they come back to me. It's gonna really mess with me. I hate when I can't remember the name.
You know what this movie reminded me of? The Truman Show.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of, because when he found out everything was fake.
Yeah.
And the town and all of that. So
Yeah.
if you want to compare, this episode was almost like the Truman Show, but an updated version of it, because now we're into technology so much.
Right.
At that time, cell phones and all of that wasn't out and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm rambling.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think so. For me, my favorite episode was this one. This one just made me laugh, and at the same time, I felt like, "Dad, this is something that really could happen." So it definitely made me think.
She's not even herself. Like, is she a real person?
Right.
Like, or she?
Because it was actually like they was saying to Selma, like, well, they basically could just use your AI, and remember that stuff that we having conversations about now, like Moochie says. So it wasn't even like they really needed her.
That's why the actors want to go on strike.
Right. Yeah, that's why the actors is basically supporting this, right along with the writers, and I don't blame them, because when at the end they basically was like, well, this technically is not even about you. It was a whole nother Joan. So that's why I said it was like Joan on top of Joan on top of Joan. So yeah, that was definitely interesting.
This was good too.
Yeah.
It's really a Netflix story.
Yeah.
Because they really had a documentary on this too. I saw it.
That's what I was seeing.
I didn't watch it. I saw the thing, and I'm like, damn, it seemed like, so this is based on a true story?
Right. I think they took pieces of it and then changed some of the other pieces. But this one was basically, Lock Henry is about a young couple. You got David, I think was his name, and her name was Pia, his girlfriend. They come to the town thinking they're going to work on a nature documentary, but then all of a sudden, we getting a whole nother thing going down.
You know what pissed me off with this girl? Why would he want to do a documentary like that, and it's triggering for him?
That's what I'm saying. I thought she was very insensitive.
She didn't even care.
Yeah, I felt like she was being very insensitive. Because they came, and even though it was a little like, the place was a little weird, a little dry, I'm like, okay, y'all gonna do a documentary. Like, I want to see where it was gonna go, because you're saying it's a nature documentary. So I'm like, well, what's gonna happen with the nature? And his mother was being weird from the very beginning, and she kept having these awkward situations with the mom, where it would be like the mom would end up walking in when she was saying certain things. So I was like, okay, where we going? And then come to find out, it's like a much bigger story that's happening there, or that has happened in the past, I should say.
Exactly, because they said that was a tourist town.
Right.
And it was so much crime, well, not crime, M's happening there, where people stopped visiting because they didn't feel safe.
Yeah, Shannon said, like, his father got shot, and she's like, yeah, let's go where it happened. Yeah, that was weird to me. I felt like she was being very insensitive, because basically they, I think it was like, first he was just showing her around the town. Let me see. I know I got some of the slides. Yeah, that's his mom when she met her. And
when
then they meet
that's when she got open.
Yeah, then they meet his friend, and he starts to tell the story, and she was open after that. She was all in. And I was like, really? And then she didn't even see a problem. She actually said to him at one point, like, I'm going to do it with or without you. And I was like, I would have told her behind, you could go to hell, girl.
But you know what else, though, Tamika? he was also, you could tell when he was telling the story at the bar, his eyes was watering up. It was
Yes.
very hard for him to
Yes.
talk about this.
Yes.
And we didn't understand why. We trying like, I know your dad was hurt, but of course it's gonna be triggering because he lost his dad with this whole thing.
Right. Yeah, because the whole thing was supposed to be about some couple that had disappeared. They didn't know what happened to them. It was a big case. And then his father supposedly had, hunt down the person and caught them, but he got shot in the process. So it's like, why would he want to do a story that basically, his father was taken out trying to supposedly, save these people. Hey, EJ, thanks for coming through. Yeah, so to me, that was real disrespectful. I didn't like that she was carrying on like that at all. She was like, oh, that would be so much more interesting than what we was going to talk about. That's the story right there.
And he's egging her on. Egging like, yeah, y'all should do it. You should do it.
Yeah, the father got shot, but then died 2 years later. It wasn't an instant. It was like he had complications and stuff.
But it was the cause of his demise.
Yeah, but it still was like, that's a crazy situation, and it was triggering for him, which is understandable. And then he was like, well, we at least got to ask my mom how she feels about it first, which I thought that was the right thing to do. And she ended up being like, yeah, I'm all for it as long as y'all gonna bring down. So this was like the news article that they saw. They started getting more info, pictures, videos, all of that different kind of stuff because the friend had it. And they like, okay, yeah, we gonna make this documentary. They was interviewing his mom, they was interviewing his friend, and all of that stuff. This part was funny to me too, knowing what we see later when the mom is like, "Oh, I haven't been on the camera in years," and I'm like, okay, I guess so.
Well, what about the VHS tapes?
Yeah, like she had all those VHS tapes that had her old movies on them that supposedly.
She was like, oh, this is my mom's favorite show.
Right. Yes. Oh, God. So, and we know those came into play later, too. So I was like, oh, God. You know who I kept thinking was guilty, though? I thought it was more to the story with the father, and I thought that that this friend, his father that was in the bar that kept saying something continuously, I thought he probably was in on it and didn't want it to come out. But I was wrong about that. But yeah. So then that's his dad and him end up at the hospital at the same time because the dad had already got hurt. And then he ends up getting hurt in the van. So they both at the hospital.
But that's the other kid's dad, right?
Right. The other kid, his friend's dad.
Yeah, at the bar.
Uh-huh.
But he seemed like he already knew the truth.
Yeah. And when he came over to the bed, that's pretty much how he presented it to him. He was like, he never had facts, but he always felt like something was up. But that's all we hear him say. We don't hear the rest of what he tells him because then they go to
her house,
his mom's house with the girl there.
The nosy girlfriend.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Once she saw what she saw, why didn't she just leave and be like, you know what? I'm going to go out and bring back some wine for us because, we had a rough day today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just go get some wine and don't come back. She could have took the car.
Yeah, definitely. Well, she did try to play it off like I'm going to go out and get some air, but I think she didn't even turn off the tape. I think it was still playing. I can't remember too much.
It was still playing. Yeah. That's how she figured out she knew. And then she went and got dressed, did her little ass thing. She was ready to go get it in.
Shannon says, I wonder if them videos was of Ormer. Probably so. It wouldn't surprise
because it was her show. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're cut to something like you see some weird ish on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they with that song they were singing before they had the car accident.
And that's how it was with VHS tapes. Like a lot of times you may do a recording on because remember they had the 2-hour ones, the 4-hour ones, the 6-hour ones. You could be watching one thing and then all of a sudden it would go shh, and then whatever you recorded over.
Unless you knew how to stop, it where it stopped. Go back and start it where it just like and it'll go into something else.
Exactly.
Where it don't be that no minute.
So sometimes you got to be careful what you're looking for because you just might find a baby. All of a sudden, his dad starts showing up on the videos. The people that was missing start showing up on the videos.
Oh, and
And
then
then
her
here
with this
go
freaky
mama with her
mask
mask on.
and playing the music, and she was doing all
Oh,
this freaky
God.
dancing.
Yes, but that was sad because she was chasing her, saying that she wasn't going to do nothing to her. I don't believe that. But then how she got taken out was like, are you freaking kidding
You
me?
didn't
She,
even really see it.
yeah, because I had to watch it 2 times, and the second time I realized, like, oh shoot, she basically fell, hit
Down,
her
fell in the
head.
woods.
Yeah, like, oh man. Then she come back and put the damn mask on, and
You
you
know
know,
what was crazy when she's sitting at the table eating, and she looked up and saw that mask on the wall. That's when she was
exactly.
like, I gotta get it out of here.
Yeah,
I'm going to the bathroom. Her phone don't work there, and then you gonna go outside in the dark, 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 in the country dark.
yeah,
In the country dark like that, you can't even see your hand in front of your face if you don't got no flashlight.
exactly,
You
exactly.
don't know what's coming at you. And then when I saw them lights coming up the bed, woo,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She said the same thing when she went to eat and saw the mask on the wall. Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I kind of, no, I ain't gonna lie. I really didn't get his friend either because after everything that happened, remember all he kept talking about. He was the one that really pushed for this as well and was
yeah, because
excited
he was like,
about
it's
it.
gonna be big.
Right, it's gonna be big. You're gonna get tourists, and he right. His bar is full up of people, and he mad excited about it. But it's like, how can you be excited when people lost their lives? But then, I mean, at the same time, he still went and did the daggone documentary, but was looking miserable. So I was like, well, what was the point of that? I don't
I
know.
know.
How did you feel
He
about
looked
that?
so out of place standing up there.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, this one's back home like, hey, like at the bar.
yeah. He all enjoying himself, and even when he called to congratulate him, he hung up the phone on him, and
Yeah, because
then
we like, yo, you done ruined my life. Just talk. I didn't. When I found out he lost his girl, I was like, oh man, ain't no way in
yeah,
heck he wanted to do this. Who
yeah,
actually continued this whole thing to let him do this?
yeah. And that's what his friend's father was really trying to warn him of. Like, you don't realize, how much y'all digging up. Some things you need to leave
Leave
buried.
alone, exactly.
Yeah. And
But you know what?
even his mom letter that she left him talking about some, this is for the doctor, this is for your film. I said,
It
what?
was all the tapes.
Yeah.
And just like I forgot who said it in the comments that I think it was something on every one of them tapes. I think it was Shannon that said it, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was either
yeah,
Shannon or Candy.
yeah.
So I think it was something on each and every one of them tapes for them to
Hmm.
be discussing it.
Yeah,
For her
definitely.
to leave all them tapes there and
Hmm.
basically take herself out by standing on a chair,
Yeah,
rapping
I
like no
agree.
Negro.
I feel like it was all they had been doing that for a long time. You don't just wake up one day and all of a sudden, do that. So of course, everything got exposed. What she did, what the husband did, they was like, oh, they got away with it for all these years. So now this one really took the cake for me. I would say this is my number two, because I thought this was very sad, but I thought it was very deep and very, whew,
You put this before the one we just saw?
huh?
You put this before the
I
one we
think
just
I
saw?
do. I think I do.
All
I
right,
think this is my
I'm gonna
second.
say my orders. I'm gonna say my order when we finish everything.
I don't know
Because
this
I
one.
got it a different way.
Okay.
But
What
I
did you
like this
think?
episode too though.
What did you think about this one?
Yo, I knew once he was like, look, let me borrow your I said, this is gonna be a problem. This is gonna be a major problem.
Yeah, because I didn't really know where we were going from the beginning, but
They're showing a lot of artificial intelligence.
yeah,
Like where, okay, I'm gonna let you hold what is it, my skin? What was they calling it?
yeah, yeah. That's when it really became a problem to me. I knew something was gonna
You
happen,
know
but
what movie this reminded me of too?
which one?
The movie with Bruce Willis and they was all like, you could be in your home like this, and your
Oh, I know what you're
you know
talking
what movie
about. I
I'm talking
can't
about,
think of
right?
the name of it, but I know what you're
I
talking
can't
about.
think of it right now.
Yes.
But when they was like, when you was in your real body, they be like, yeah, he's in a meat sack. That's what
Exactly. Yes. I just watched that not that
Tamika,
long
you know
ago
what movie I'm
too.
talking about. I
Oh
know
man,
you
I
know, but it's
know
on the
it.
tip of
Yes.
your tongue right now. I can see it.
I hate when I can't remember the name
Me
of movies.
too. I'm a look. Oh.
And I just watched that not that long ago. As a matter of fact, I got that on my
And
external hard
Ving
drive.
Rhames was in it,
Yes.
and he was how you call it? He was a robot.
I know what you're talking about. Oh man.
He's like,
Oh,
you
I
got a
hate
meat.
that.
He's in a meat sack.
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh.
I know y'all know what movie I'm talking about.
I can't
I'm
stand
looking
that.
up the name of it. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna have it in a minute.
Yes, I just watched that one not too long ago. I'm so mad that I can't remember the name.
I'm looking it up.
But I know what you're talking about. But yeah, you guys. So I thought like the comparison, like how they broke it down, because
Mm-hmm.
we first saw I think it's Cliff, right? Yeah, we saw Cliff. He's on a farm. They just moved to the farm. You know, they secluded. He more so seemed like he's straightforward. He there to do the work. He asking, his wife what time dinner gonna be ready, whatever. Whereas with this family, which was David's family, they going out to the movies. He's more. It seemed like they was more in the open. He was more famous. I wouldn't say he was more famous, but I guess he was more like around the people where they asking him for his autograph. And at one point, one of the people do say to him like, "Oh, so how is it when you're down here?" Because they were saying how they're astronauts and they'd be up in the sky. They like how you in two places at one time. And he do say it's something like sleep. So that's when we get to realize that these are just the AIs that are down here living for them while they're up there in space taking care of whatever they got to take care of on the spaceship. And I didn't get the screenshot, but I noticed the second time that the wife sees a truck outside that looked like a Scooby-Doo truck that had been sitting outside the daggone house. I'm like, oh, I ain't catch that the first time. So we just kind of see the contrast between how they work out up there in space and then when they turn the key and lay down and, quote unquote, go to sleep, then that's when the AIs are down there with the families and are spending time with them, basically. So it was like they needed the two of them to be up there because of certain things they both had to do together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he's sleeping, he hear a noise downstairs. What did you think about all of this part? Child, this was like, oh my goodness.
When the
Shannon says,
intruders
oh
came,
my God. Yeah, it was
you know
good
that was
and weird.
Macaulay Culkin's brother, right?
Yes, yes. And he plays on
Remember he was in City on the Hill.
yes, he
That's
be
the
acting
same one
his
that was in
behind
City
off.
on
I
the Hill
like
for
him
one
too.
season. And
Yes.
he play an evil guy.
Yes.
Other
Yes.
than no, the other brother's in what's the other? It's a show on HBO. I can't think of the name.
They
right
just
now.
had their last season.
Just,
I don't know why my mind is blank. Succession.
Succession, yeah.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
the name of the movie that we were talking about that we know the movie but we couldn't remember the name is Surrogates.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
the name of the movie.
I
Surrogates.
still got that on my external drive. Yeah, I'll be watching that. That movie
That
was
was a
good.
good movie
Yeah,
because
it
if you
was.
didn't have good money, you had a bad AI.
Mm-hmm.
That Joker looked like the Tin Man.
Right.
Shoot, they were selling the skins like they were cars.
Exactly.
This model here is
exactly.
Like the BMW. This model is the Chevy, and then you got the Yugo right here.
Right. Yeah, it was sad. This was definitely sad. And I
When the intruders
definitely
came and
felt
they
bad for him.
see how fake
Yeah.
he was, and they messed up the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sad. It looked weird and crazy. It was like he was trying to fight them off at first.
This is the part I didn't understand. Now, if you made a metal and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me you couldn't like slap fire eye out of this dude or slap him where his head, we literally knock his head off his shoulders.
Right. That's what I
And they
was
show Arnold
expecting. That's
Schwarzenegger as a thing, and he's
right.
so. Even the other ones that wasn't so muscular, they was
Hmm.
crushing people's hands and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, how he this week?
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I was expecting at first. I did
Me
not see this
too.
coming. When it went this direction, I was like, oh,
What?
yeah.
And he was like, "You're not real."
Right. And then he had like the green stuff oozing out and his arm just flopping
Mm-hmm.
around. I was like, oh,
It was
damn.
like,
Like, I really was not expecting that. Oh God, it was sad though, yo. This no, what really messed me up even more is the fact that he it was so much that it woke him up out of his sleep, and then he tried to hurry up and go back, and by that time he was tied up, and like at the end of the day they could, probably, well, they really couldn't technically, but they probably could have like repaired him. But we know when it's a real life human being is a different story. And this whole part when the daggone wife was like, but I'm real, look at me, I bleed. And they, go ahead, Moochie, break that part down. I
oh, well,
was
she was
like,
like, "I'm real. I bleed." And then she showed her hand. She was telling them that her children was real and all that, and they didn't care. They didn't care at all, and it was like he watched his family go.
yeah,
So it
that
was
that
like,
messed me up. I ain't even
yeah,
gonna lie. I felt bad for them.
because
And
the
the
little
fact that the
kid,
guy was like, oh, I know you real, but you with this thing. Or whatever the heck. I'm paraphrasing. Basically, he was disgusted that she would even, accept the AI being there with her. I was just like, oh, wow. So, yeah, I definitely felt bad that that happened. And you know what I didn't understand? If you seen something that tragic happen to him, like I get that they called Cliff and he went up there and tried to console him and all of that, but don't you think y'all would say, okay, mission over, this is too traumatizing for him. He's not gonna be able to do the job. Like, what do you think about that?
I thought I thought they was gonna turn them around and make them come back, but it's just like no. And then he was getting depressed.
Right.
He was getting depressed, and he
Yes,
was
Shannon.
feeling
It
real
was the
bad
real
about what
that was a real
happened.
family. It was only him that wasn't
Yeah,
real.
that it
That
was
was a
only
real
him. He would just
family.
come home to basically because if he's homesick, he could see his family when he sleep and
Yeah.
spend time with them. Even though that's just the body. I don't even think he was doing anything with his wife. She wasn't
Hmm.
getting none. Even
Yeah.
though, that might have been a good
Right.
time to get some because it probably would have been nonstop. But I'm just
Right.
saying she probably would have been climbing the walls and everything because you know what? Did you finish yet? No. Did you finish yet? No.
Hmm. Hey,
Oh, okay.
LSW, thanks for coming through.
Hey.
Oh
So
yeah, they asked him so he got a PV yeah when they came. Yeah, but he was an AI, but they were the real family. It was like when they would go to sleep on the ship, then they could send their AIs down, and the AI basically, what I'm saying, would step in for them while they were sleeping. So that's how that would work. So that it still would be like they spending time with their family, even though they aren't actually there. They're up in space working on the ship. So
hmm
yeah. Yes, y'all. Please hit the like, y'all. We appreciate it. Yeah. So I guess they just had a thing against the fact that they were using artificial intelligence.
right.
But I was like, Dad, y'all really had to do that to his family? Like, that was cold. So now, between his wife, this is when, like Moochie says, she comes up with the idea, because it was her that came up with it, that said, well, maybe let him use your body and come down for a minute so that he could get some air and breathe, whatever. And between her saying that to him, and I feel like even him seeing this in in the newspaper, with the funeral and everything, I think it did make him feel bad, and then he goes back up and he makes the offer for him to do it. Now, how did you feel about this offer? Because as soon as he said this, I'm gonna let you go first.
I feel like he should have never put that idea in his head. You got a pretty wife, a nice looking family, you live in a nice, not to mention His house was nice too, but he had like a different he had like a chill thing with his house, like where you quiet and all that. But his house was like, all open, one of those California houses and stuff like that. But I like the fact that he was kind of standoffish about it, but he knew that his partner was sinking into a great deal of depression where he didn't want to go on anymore. So that's where he was with that.
Yeah. I felt like it was a mistake from the beginning. You know what I kept thinking was going to happen, which it didn't go that way. To me, this way was actually might have been worse. But I kept thinking, why would you take the chance of letting him go in your body? He's going to take over your body and live your life. He don't have to come back. That's what I kept thinking.
He could have left him there and then come back.
Right. And then they kept emphasizing that it needs to be both of them. It has to be two of them. So because they kept saying that, I was like, nah, this man about to jack over this whole thing. And
the first thing it was when the okay, it was all right the first couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he was like with that painting,
yeah.
And he was like, oh, and the husband would come back and mess up the painting.
Right.
So I got to come back and fix it. No, you don't.
Yeah, because it seemed like it started out innocent. Like, even when he broke down and cried here, the partner was surprised, Cliff. He was like, wait, he cried? He was like, he don't usually show emotion for what you said to him. Then when he first found out that he was able to do the painting from memory of their house, he was actually like, oh, that's what's up. You could do that? So it was all seeming innocent in the beginning, like, oh, well, let him come down and paint. But I was like, nah, y'all doing too much at this point. Yeah, but
he was messing with his head after that.
Yeah.
Because he ain't never see that woman naked.
Mm-hmm.
And he painted it, and he like, that's my
wife. Little Rock says, well, she kind of had relations. Oh, relations. Okay. Yeah, I know I don't got my glasses.
I had this finger move that he would do to her and try to to co-worker's wife.
Yes.
Let me find out.
Oh God. Shannon said he was being a real friend, but I didn't like it because I thought he was going to look for the people who killed me. Right.
I thought that was going to happen too, Shannon.
Yes.
I thought he was going to be on some, like, I got to avenge my family. But nah, it wasn't. Right.
So at this point, he starts getting mad, Cliff, and he's kind of taking it out on his wife, accusing her of things when really it's not her fault. And he gets pissed off with him too. And that's when now, do y'all feel like he would have did what he did anyway? Like, even if he didn't say that to him? Or do you feel like because he went off on him and was like, my wife basically said you trash, she don't want you around no more, do you think that pushed him to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because baby, the way he came and was standing over him, I was like, oh Lord, he about to take him out. And then even when he sent him outside and he lied about it being something wrong with the ship, I figured he just was gonna leave him stranded outside. And for him to go ahead and be taken out. You know what I mean? So I still wasn't expecting that ending. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I was like kind of blindsided with the whole thing. Yeah. I thought he was gonna really try to take his life over and take him out where he don't have to worry about him coming back.
Yeah, Shannon said that's the direction I thought they was going. No, I think he overstepped and he wouldn't have done that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is really what did you think about this ending? Like, oh man, what was it like? He kind of looked at him like, okay, now we both gonna be stuck up here and you ain't got a family no more either. Like, that's what I felt like he was saying.
Yeah.
That was cold, man. I was like, is he serious right now? That was really, really cold. Hey, Daria.
Hi, Daria.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I was brokenhearted by that for him, though. So now Maisie Day. I felt like this one was realistic too, to a certain degree. Then they went in a whole nother direction, of course, that I wasn't expecting. But just like the paparazzi part of it, and how far they'll go just to get pictures, that aspect of it, and
This was the
sometimes
best one to me. Like
this was the best one to you.
this was
Okay,
the first one.
okay,
Joan was good, and then I like this one,
okay,
and then the other one that we just was talking about would be the next one.
okay,
That's the order I will put it in.
okay. Yeah, I thought this was realistic because it just showed how they don't be caring like the paparazzi. I mean, they was all calling her out her name and the whole nine. And it felt like, Bo, who was one of the photographers, like she wanted to get the picture too. But she also was looking at them like, yo, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? And then remember she even took pictures of the guy. One of the first pictures she did, mind you, what he offered her to pay her for the picture was actually more than when she went to take it to the magazine or whoever it was that was going to be publishing it. So she might as well have just took the money from him, because he was like, oh, I'll pay you, what was it, $500, $600 or whatever for you not to, turn that picture in. And then she didn't take it. She went to them. They was going to give her less. And she was like, oh, I was going to get $500 for him for it. And he ended up deleting himself. So she felt kind of bad about that. Whereas the guys was like, oh, well, that's just what happens. Like, they were so cold and nasty.
They were so insensitive to stuff, and they would say the wildest thing to make you come chase them. Where, all right, I'm gonna sue.
Yeah, she said I would have took the money. Little Rock says, people said this paparazzi episode was the worst, but I didn't mind it. Really? No, I didn't think it was. I didn't mind it.
I thought it was good because
I think that's because they're used to Blackmirror, like I said, being a certain way, and this was a little different for them. But I didn't mind it. I still enjoyed it. But you know what I mean? It still kept me intrigued.
You know what, Tamika, though? To me, this was like what you were saying, like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yes.
This one was exactly like a Twilight Zone.
It even gave me a little bit of like a creep show vibe, a little bit, like a mixture. Yeah, and I used to like creep shows, so
me too.
I used to watch them. So, of course, she has this hit and run. And then she come back and the cops is there and all of that. And, of course, Bo is like just basically on her tail and trying to figure out where they moving her to and all of that. So I don't know. What was you thinking? Because I definitely wasn't thinking where we went. So she finds, like, was this supposed to be like a rehab place? I think the guy that Donna was telling her.
Yeah, that's what they thought it was.
Yeah, and they was like,
they were under the assumption that it was a rehab spot, and that they was putting her into rehab for treatment.
Yeah, she bought the damn iPad. Then she wasn't even paying her rent and stuff on time. Her roommate was getting tired of her.
Her roommate was getting look, I can't stand when you cook certain foods.
I can't take the smell.
Open a window and light a candle. Oh, you've been taking my food. I noticed there's some of my food that has the markings on it. He seemed like one of them type of dudes that'll mark a bottle, like a soda bottle, to see how much if you drank some. I know it was by the top of the S.
Right.
When I started drinking it. But
so I guess she figured this would, put her over. Like she would get big bucks for getting these pictures of Maisie Day.
It was $50,000 they was gonna offer her for those pictures.
Yes. So she ended up.
I'm sorry.
She ended up calling up Hector to come help her, but some kind of way they had a tracker on them. So the same a-holes from the beginning that was being mad extra end up following them.
Yeah, because they put it on Hector's bike.
Right.
Like, he like, how you get up here?
So now this was my whole thing, and I get it because on the one hand they don't care, they just trying to get these pictures, but of course she get in there and she trying to break the door in and get in there because she's seeing that they got a damn chain around her neck and chain on the floor. So if you saw this, what would you do? What would you?
I would have left that joker right there. because they wanted her chain down for a reason. I would have looked up and saw the freaking full moon, and I'm saying I'm out of here.
Oh
I'm
God.
like, you know that.
Yeah, because even she was warning them, like, do not loosen me, okay? But they used her anyway. This was another one of them situations of mind your business sometimes.
You know, sometimes they don't even know when to leave well enough alone.
But I did like this episode, and I didn't see that coming. It definitely gave me a mixture of Twilight Zone, like Creep Show, Tales from the Crypt, all in one. I felt all of that
Me
watching this
too.
episode.
I thought it was good too.
Yeah. And I remember we used to run in, and I still will turn on Twilight Zone, and like anytime, any place, I do the freaking marathons and all of that. I don't never get tired of it. So
Did
it's
you
okay.
watch? Did you watch the damn? I can't even. The
She
new
said I
Twilight
would
Zone
have.
with Jordan Peele.
Yes, I was watching it when
Those
it
was
was
kind of
coming
okay
on.
too.
I would have left. No thanks, I'm good. Right.
Yeah. Like I don't need no picture that bad. But she
So
getting the picture and getting the money, but was it all worth it? You know,
right.
that guy was your close friend because he was the one letting the people
Exactly.
get this together, and she's just worried about paying her bills. So I see why she went and did what she did.
Yeah. But them other ones that got ate up, them ones that was being the a-holes. So now we get to the last one, episode 5, which was Demon 79. This
Oh yeah, I
also was
forgot this one. This was good.
this
too.
was also a shorter than what they normally have as far as the episodes. So what did you think of this one with Demon 79?
When she was like, I gotta pick. They said I had to pick some people to, be taken out.
Yeah.
And she should have been took out her coworker. That should have been the first one.
Yeah, because you could tell she was like a meek person. She came in minding her business, and it seemed like everybody wanted to mess with her. Her co-worker was messing with her.
Her
boss was messing with her. Just even the people in her neighborhood putting up different graffiti on her door and all that different kind of stuff.
She was an Indian woman.
It was making me laugh though when she would kind of daydream about doing
hurting
stuff
people.
to people. Yeah. So when he shows up, he's essentially like, her name I think was Nydia and his name was Gap. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Gaap. Now when he shows up, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't have believed in him either. Like somebody just show up and tell you, if you gotta take out 3 people in order to save the world, basically. I wouldn't believe that either. I would think they crazy too. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
But she didn't believe who he was either, because isn't he supposed to be a demon?
Right. He was saying he's a demon.
Come in form.
Yes. And it wasn't until he was able to literally touch her and show her and give it to her in a vision that she's like, okay, maybe this is real. So he gives her different scenarios like of who she could possibly take out. And I think the first one was somebody that he showed her like they didn't do anything yet, but it's what they could possibly do in the future, right? Pertaining to the daughter or something like that. He was like, you would be saving her from going through years of pain. So he some kind of way talks her into it where she's like, plus the guy was being an a-hole to her anyway. And I guess she was like, okay, you know what I mean? He's a bad person, so it's okay for me to take him out. Says, did you believe her?
Did the ending change her mind about believing her?
Yeah, I felt like it did. I don't know. I think it's up to interpretation. I believed
her.
I believed her though.
Because she was so meek when she went and act on things.
Yeah.
And it took for that, and they saw her talking about herself. But then when they show him come to form, that's when she was believable.
Yes.
And he was like, I don't like to scare people like that. And then he came looking like, somebody from
because it was like, yo, I could be human form, where I give you a little bit of sex appeal, or I could show you the full-on demon and plus show you, what these people are going to do so that you know that this is real. So it wasn't like she just instantly believed him. She was giving him a hard time she was arguing with him like, no, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. And then, of course, this was the second guy, which she didn't mind doing anything to him because he had already went to jail for supposedly taking his wife out. So it was like he would be the first, the perfect target. But then somebody came home and that kind of messed up the plan. I think that was his roommate, right? Yeah, and that wasn't supposed to be. And then they didn't want to count that. They was like, no, it
He
don't
was
work.
like, yeah, you did this, but it don't count.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She even told the police that.
Yeah.
He was a jerk too, though.
Yeah.
When they showed all the stuff that he would do, this reminded me of the movie Damien.
Yes.
Because that's how he was going
to. But I felt I
that.
understood where she was coming from, but I also felt like she got so obsessed with that it kind of messed her up at the same time because he kept then it was funny. Well, being though he a demon, I guess it would make sense where it was like, no, he's not in the cards. We don't care about him. That's fine. But at one point, he even was like, well, what about your coworker? She was getting on your nerves. What about your boss? Like, he was throwing them in there. And I was surprised.
Coworker, she did, and then walked out with that red jacket on.
Exactly.
But I was glad she did it. And her boss was an idiot, too.
He was.
Those wasn't even her boxes on the floor. That was that chick's boxes.
Exactly.
He had to pick up, you pick up all of this, you're leaving
right. Yeah, they was all treating her like crap.
Yeah.
They really was. So I wouldn't have blamed her if she would have, went buck wild on all of them. But I thought this was like a little, what's the word? I don't know if it was like too easy for me as far as the cops, because I felt like this was them kind of singling her out again, even though they were actually right. But it was like, okay, just because she was in a bar that she normally don't go in, she automatically became the suspect. I thought that was a little too easy, in my opinion.
Well, Little Rock, did you believe
her? Did you believe her? Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you thought she was on point or not. So she was like,
No, with this scene, she was like, she ran it. She done ran dude off the road.
Yes.
And he hit that tree.
Yeah, she was serious with that part. Because even the demon was trying to get her to stop it. She just was like, no, get away from me. Like, this is going down. He said, I believe her, but in the documentary episode, the politician was in the newspaper for doing what she envisioned. So did the world really end?
Wow. Okay.
Oh no,
but he didn't die. That's why.
Yes, he did.
That's why everything happened, because he
right, lived. Right, yeah. And of course, they got there and they stopped her. I mean, listen, if somebody was to just come and tell me this story, I'm probably not gonna, believe them. Obviously, just right off the bat. If they could show me proof, so of course they all think she crazy. Mm-hmm. They like, oh, well, we know where she gonna end up at. And the cop actually says he feels a little bad for her because he could tell she really believes the story that she's telling, because she, of course, explains everything to them. And I don't even know if I would have bothered explaining it, because I would already be like, they are not going to believe me.
Well, I would have explained this, so they put me in the doggone nut house and I have my own room and I don't got to worry about scrapping and
Yeah. I definitely thought that all of these was interesting in their own way. Like I said, they all kept me entertained. But I think I would have, let me see. I think Joan the Awful's number 1 for me. Beyond the Sea is number 2, I think. Then Maisie Day, then this one, and I think the Lock Henry would be number 5 for me. Oh, I don't know.
I like the paparazzi one. This one was good too, because I was like, oh shoot, when all of this was going on.
So, yeah, and I wanted to know what the heck, how was it gonna end?
Me too.
What was gonna be the outcome? Because she did like this, looking at that clock, and then nothing happened. I was like, all right, what? And then all of a sudden, they like, wait a minute.
But that's because they let the guy go.
Right. Yeah. Then they was like, oh, sugar honey iced tea. Now, what did you think about him saying to her? Because wasn't he supposed to get
3.
sentenced to purgatory or something like that? Where the heck
Yeah,
was
but
he
he
going?
said, she said, that's how my life feels already. So then, well, then
Right.
you could be here with me. So is
Yeah.
she gonna be in purgatory with him?
I guess so, because he was like, "What you think about coming and spending it with me?" Then they walking off. I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. She done gained her a man in the process, a demon man."
He looked like he pimped it. Because remember, this is supposed to be in the 70s.
Right. Yeah, it was
So he got his
1979.
platform shoes on and he walking out like, come on, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, they were all interesting. They were all interesting to me. I like this series. I wouldn't mind revisiting, like going back to, season 1 and refreshing my mind, because it's been a minute since I watched it. I think I like season 6 better than 5. I can still kind of remember 5. 5 had some that I liked and some that I didn't care that much for, but I don't remember 1 through 4 as much.
Right.
So I think I would like to, refresh my mind on that. But yeah, you guys, that's what we got today. I just want to talk about this because I really did enjoy this season of this.
This is a good one you picked, Tamika.
And I just was like, Dad, these was on some stuff. Even my son was asking me when I was doing it, because he was saying he wanted to talk about it with me, but his schedule was crazy. So I was like, I can't keep waiting for you, all right? But Moochie, what you got coming up on your channel?
Well, tomorrow at 9:05, we're going to be on my channel talking about Mary J. Blige. This is the second movie, Strength of a Woman. Last week we did Real Love. So we're going to be talking about that. I got a couple of trivia questions for y'all if y'all was paying attention when y'all was watching.
Right.
And little games and stuff like that. We're going to have fun and chop it up. Tamika going to be over there, y'all. Y'all need to come.
Yes.
Anyhow,
the part
I got BX in the building.
Yes, the part 2 of
ladies. And Friday too. Friday we're gonna be talking about trending topics, y'all. I have an update on the Jonathan Major story. We're gonna be talking about strawberries, from Steve Harvey's show. We're gonna be talking about the mess that she's mixed up in and all of that.
So Lord, I ain't even hear about that. Okay. I ain't hear about
I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes. I don't like doing a gossip thing, but you might want to come and put your ear to the streets and be in the chat on me.
Yes. Right. Hey Zia, thanks for coming through.
Hey Zia.
Yeah, you guys. So I don't even remember. I think for me, I'm gonna probably have trivia on Saturday. I'll keep y'all posted, let y'all know. Monday, I believe I'm talking about the clearing, and so I think that's it. I'm gonna have my sisters up because I'm supposed to be watching Sisters right now, doing my review right now.
Look, she'll be back with it, y'all. Chill out. Yeah. Hold your horses.
I'll have that up.
Yeah, so tomorrow
thank you, Shannon, for coming through. I appreciate
it. What you like, Shannon? Yeah, in the building. I gotta hold it down with my New York girl.
Hey, Little Rock, thank you. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Kenzie Love, Zaria, always coming showing support. Inga, LSW, Samara, thank you to all you guys. So yes, if y'all have not watched this series, definitely get into it because Black Mirror is good. It really is.
And if you haven't watched it and we done wet your beak with just telling you what we saw, go back and watch the first season. Anthony Mackie is in it.
Yes.
And the guy that played in the movie, the TV series with Regina King. I forgot what it's called. The Watchmen.
Yeah. So they've had a lot of people in here, and they even had a spinoff that was like a separate thing, and I think it was like a different ending depending on which one you clicked on. That was interesting as well.
Kaleidoscope.
Yes. It was like similar, yeah.
Because you get a different ending if you look at it in different orders. I was supposed to do that, but
that was interesting.
I was busy.
Yeah,
That came
there
out the
was a
same
lot
time.
going on.
That power, and then we was going into the next one and Snowfall. It was just a lot of stuff coming on at the same time.
Yeah, I may do that somewhere down the line. I just gotta figure it out and set up a schedule when I can do it.
And
That's the
you
whole
gotta let
thing.
me know which one we doing. You know what? We might put a vote up and put the top. We'll do it in order, like how we do the throwbacks. And as
Yeah,
y'all know, the next throwback movie is Which Way Is Up. That's gonna be on my
right.
channel. You know, Tamika gonna be in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're gonna be talking about that. With Richard Pryor, Which Way Is Up.
Yeah.
I love doing comedy, so I'm glad that
Yeah,
I put
that's
that in
one
the
of my
top 5.
faves. I never get tired of that. So we gonna have fun talking about that one.
And we're gonna have some trivia questions with that because it's a movie from the freaking 80s. Everybody should know something.
Right. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Thank y'all for stopping through. And if you should watch this on the replay, make sure you let us know replay game that you came by. Okay,
And
you
when
came
we
through.
hashtag replay in the chat.
Yes. All right, y'all.
Oh, you cutting it up?
God.